Thank you, Lascian Corla. Minister, I appreciate that you're new to the portfolio, and I do congratulate you and hope and wish you every success in the future. But I'd like to draw your attention to the need for investment in Rosslare Europort. Rosslare Europort is Ireland's most strategic port in relation to accessing the European mainland once Ireland leaves the UK and currently. The land bridge will become defunct for the hauliers and their drivers who wish to comply with driving regulation times and serve their customers' best interests post-Brexit. Minister, I've spent 30 years of my life as a haulier working in logistics, and it is a fact that if a daily direct ferry service to the EU is not established prior to Brexit, the confidence will not be with the exporters or importers, and markets will not be reached and jobs will be lost. Hauliers and logistics managers cannot assure the customers that they will be saved from the chaos of the land bridge, and HGV drivers are already anticipating chaos and will not do the job post-Brexit if it involves unnecessary time delays, which will lead to extra time away from their families that can be avoided with preparation. Rosslare has potential like no other port in Ireland. It's the first accessible on the East Coast, making it more attractive to any UK provider post-Brexit. We must prepare Rosslare and maximise its potential for the benefit of the country and take rightful advantage of the ill wind that Brexit is for Ireland. Can the Minister confirm that she will invest in Rosslare Europort and make the necessary requests to the EU to safeguard the national interest post-Brexit by applying to the EU for Tier 1 status for the port and make Rosslare a free zone? Would you wish me to continue, Ken Corla?
You have 4 minutes.
Sorry,
4 minutes.
I'll keep going given the hour of the night. Minister, my other point on Rosslare is that the Carbon Trust has said in a recent study that Rosslare is the most suitable site for the required wind energy base to construct turbines for the offshore wind farms planned to service Ireland and UK markets. There's a significant amount of preparation required in the port to accommodate the base. That's costly, but ultimately an investment, and it's the most beneficial and value for money for the Exchequer on a national project basis. You can tick many boxes with one lump sum. Not only does it develop the port for freight and passenger services for the future, but the real value is that Ireland's future energy and fuel source must be carbon-free. And you, as a previous chair of the Climate Action Committee, will appreciate that. We need wind energy if we're to be carbon-free. My research points towards hydrogen as the fossil fuel replacement. And Rosslare has the space for a hydrogen plant for the future. So Rosslare is about investing in Ireland's future. The investment is about joining the dots on all levels and giving the taxpayer value for money. Can the Minister unlock the potential for Ireland and be the first Minister to commit to developing Rosslare for the good of the country and its future? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Minister.
Thank you, Deputy, for raising this issue this evening. Rosslare Europort continues to work closely with the Department of Transport and a range of other government departments and offices in preparing for the additional border controls and other impacts that will arise from Brexit. The port's border inspection post on a 16-acre site 1 kilometre from the port is ready for operation, and additional staff have been deployed at Rosslare Europort since April 2020. Future Brexit configuration has been incorporated into the overall master plan for the port. Rosslare Europort is actively seeking opportunities arising from Brexit to expand shipping services to continental EU ports. And I'm aware that the Deputy, together with other representatives from the Irish Road Haulage Association, and representatives from my Department of Transport and from the Rosslare Europort visited northern France in November 2019 to try to develop shipping links from Rosslare, and I'd like to thank you, Deputy, for your work on developing such links. Since that time, Brittany Ferries have launched a new service to Roscoff and to Bilbao from Rosslare. Rosslare is unique among the state commercial ports as it operates outside the Harbours Act 1996 to 2009. The port forms part of the Fishguard and Rosslare Railways and Harbour Company, which owes its origins to the Fishguard Bay Railway and Pier Act of 1893. The constituent ports of the company are nowadays the operational and financial responsibility of Éireann Éireann and Stena Line Ports Limited, respectively. On account of this historic arrangement, Rosslare Europort is operated as a division of Éireann Éireann. Rosslare is the 4th largest port in the state in terms of overall tonnage handled and the state's 2nd largest passenger port. The port generates revenue of over €10 million per annum, with surpluses of approximately €2.5 million. Rosslare is targeting growth and new business opportunities and has received the approval of Éireann Éireann Board for a strategic plan to grow the port's business. This includes plans for an investment of about €30 million in customer facilities, port infrastructure, assets and new technology. Earlier this year, Brittany ferries began operating between Rosslare and Roscoff and Bilbao. Rosslare has a significant proportion of Irish ro-ro traffic of approximately 16%. Due to this, in preparation for Brexit, Rosslare has now been designated as an approved EU border control post, and the OPW is working with the various state agencies to put in place the necessary port facilities and infrastructure. In relation to offshore wind, Deputy, in recent weeks, the Dutch logistics company Zelez have selected the port of Rosslare as its offshore wind supply base and has acquired private land around the port. It's early days, but the company aims to tap into upcoming Irish offshore wind opportunities. Rosslare Europort is on the 10T comprehensive network, but it does not meet the EU criteria for 10T core port status. However, Rosslare Europort continues to be eligible for EU co-funding under the Connecting Europe facility. This co-funding is available to projects on both the comprehensive and the core parts of the 10T network, subject to such projects satisfying the eligibility criteria of a given call for proposals and being selected in the evaluation process. The programme for government commits the government to continue to work closely with Rosslare Port to ensure that they are ready for all Brexit scenarios. The government has underlined the importance of the UK land bridge with the European Commission negotiating team and will continue to engage with our partners in France, the Netherlands, Belgium and Germany to ensure the UK land bridge remains a viable and efficient route to market. This is important for Rosslare. The government, in its programme for government, has committed to ensuring that systems at Rosslare Port are Brexit ready and adapted to take account of COVID-19 at the end of the transition period. We will ensure that this is the case so that Rosslare Europort can continue to play its full role as a critical part of Ireland's economic and social infrastructure.
2 minutes.
Thank you, Concordia. Thank you, Minister. Minister, not to misunderstand me, there is a requirement for a daily service pre-Brexit, not just post-Brexit, a daily service to mainland Europe, which will actually circumvent the land bridge and the need for many customs operations. Although those systems will be ready and are in place, it does nothing for the investment of Rosslare itself. The 30 million that you mentioned is a reconfiguration of the port. It will approximately spend 1 million on a recognition, number plate recognition for the port, and that's the extent of the electronic upgrade of the port. 10T funding, as you mentioned, Tier 1 can receive or access a fund that is worth 400 billion. And that's the fund that Rosslare needs to access, and it needs Tier 1 status to do that, although previous ministers have said that that's based on volumes. Foynes Port has been made a Tier 1 port, and at the time it didn't have the volumes. It was applied for by this government. The Minister of Finance at that time was from that county. I would expect that in preparation nationally, Tier 1 status should be applied for Rosslare Europort, and currently the only funds it can access from the EU based on its Tier 2 status is actually €30 million, and they have not drawn down €30 million. It's reinvestment from Irish Rail, who have actually taken over €2.5 million out of the port for the last 10 years without reinvestment. I'd ask you to address the position in relation to a free zone. Excels are not guaranteeing that Rosslare will be the wind base. There's a very, very real possibility that the wind base will actually go to Belfast, which would be an absolute travesty nationally for the country, when we can actually prepare and make Rosslare a centre point, not just for wind energy, but for the future replacement of fossil fuel through hydro energy. I'd ask you to consider these things gravely.
Thank you, Deputy. In relation to the free zone, Rosslare Europort is seeking the creation of a free zone at the port in order to facilitate and encourage the development of businesses. The port has been engaging with Wexford County Council in relation to this. Amongst the business opportunities which the port wishes to pursue in the context of a free zone is the creation of a facility to service the growing offshore wind industry. Free zones are secured customs areas within the European Union where non-union goods can be introduced free of import duties and charges and commercial policy measures. These goods may, following time in the free zones, be released to the domestic market subject to payment of import duties and other charges. Rosslare Europort envisaged that companies who locate in the Rosslare Europort Business Park free zone would have the ability to operate and install offshore wind farms in a cost-effective and competitive manner. My understanding is that the proposal for a free zone at Rosslare is at a very early concept stage, and a full business proposal would need to be developed and examined by the departments concerned, including finance, enterprise and transport, and compliance with EU state rules would be required. In the meantime, Rosslare Europort is to undergo a major transformation as part of its port's master plan, and the plan will see over 30 million invested in customer facilities, port infrastructure, assets and new technology by the port over the course of the next 5 years, and this will entail the modernisation and digitalisation of the port. In relation to the mass you raised in relation to the 10T process, the European Commission has published a methodology for establishing the core and comprehensive layers of the 10T network, and Rosslare Europort is on the 10T comprehensive network, as you know, Deputy, and I know you've outlined that, but it doesn't meet the threshold for the 10T core port status. I've run out of time. I can come back to you, Deputy, if you want to, and we can discuss it at a further date.
Thank you, Minister, for your cooperation.